I'm Chris, I'm 50, and I'm a terrible runner. Hi guys, today in this video, I'm going to try and give you a little outline of how I came to be in this place where I want to get better at running, and a little bit about how I've done my running in the past, terribly, never got anywhere with it, and why I'm going to be giving the MAF method or Maffetone training a real good go to build up my aerobic fitness. Let's get into it. So let's have a look at my running history, and I'm going to try and go through this as fast as I can. Any questions, just fire away. Okay, so we need a bit of share screen, running goals and times. Okay, so let's have a look at this. So January 2019, set myself a goal of running a half marathon, purely for mindset, or purely to watch my mind. I got myself into a really good place mentally, full of inner peace, like self-love, gratitude for life. Everything's going so well, and I wanted to find something to do that would just give me a chance to see where I'm really at, see what I can do. Hated running, unfit, let's do a half marathon. Now, I wasn't even sure if I could run a mile at the time, so I entered. There was a half marathon in my local town in September, and it was basically New Year. So I entered the half marathon and gave myself 9 months to train. No, 9 months to train, sorry. So went out for a run 15th of January, first run, and as you can see, 13 minutes, 15 seconds per mile. I aimed to run for half an hour, see where I got to. And I did 2.55 miles, and it was just over half an hour. So I stayed doing that run. And the idea was I was just going to keep doing that until I could get like 10-minute miles in. Now, the half marathon that I'd entered had got a shutdown time of 3 hours. So I was already concerned about that. It's 13 minutes, 13 3/4 minutes, basically per mile to do that. And I was like, holy cow, I've got no chance of doing that at the moment, but obviously I've got 9 months to get there. So I started off doing the runs and seeing if I could get down to 10-minute miles, and then start adding some on. And for the first sort of 4 months, I did like 17 runs or something, and it was kind of going okay, but I was having trouble in my knees. I was definitely struggling to train as much as I would like, and you know, other things going on and stuff anyway, so it's very easy to not do overtrain, so to speak, although it turns out I probably was overtraining. All the running I was doing though was just going out as hard as I could, with the knowledge that I should, well, with the hope that I'd be able to get round. So it wasn't like run, walk or anything like that. Oh yeah, the other thing was I entered that marathon for the September. My goal was to run all the way around without walking once. Okay, so that was the goal, to run a half marathon, no walking. Got to the end of April and the training really died down. And I got until September. Did a few runs in July, but what happened was there was a marathon in Leamington, which is another 5 miles down the road from where I live, maybe a bit more. And I thought I'll enter that and see how I get on. That will tell me what I've got to do. It'll give me like a guideline of where I'm at. So I entered that, did a few more runs beforehand. Longest run I'd done on the 24th of June was 5 miles, knowing in 2 weeks, I knew not to run 2 weeks beforehand. And then I'd got to run 13.1 miles, so 8.1 miles further than I'd ever been before. Got to the start line in the morning, total change of mindset. I was like, I'm going to give it a go. I'm going to try my damnedest to run this. And that's the mindset I went into it with, that this was actually going to be it. Let's see what happens. Total switch in the morning of getting there to, I'm going to really just try and do this, just try and run all the way around, go as slow as I possibly can. Like I was in last place within the first 500 meters, I'd say. And as it happened, I managed to run the whole thing. Like I nearly killed myself probably. And when I got to the finish line, I was just lying on the floor, tears, agony. Like the last 4 miles was absolutely horrendous. My knee made this huge popping noise on mile 9. I remember getting to mile 5 and thinking, right, now you're in the zone you've never even been to before. And then I got to like miles, once I got to about 6.5, I was like, you're halfway, now you're running home. And mile 9, my knee popped and I was just like, oh my God, can't really see me getting round. But I was watching my mind, and my mind wasn't going to let me stop. And it kept me going. And I finished, and I didn't walk. So when I got to the end, it was just like a massive outpouring emotion. My car was literally few hundred yards down the road, and it took me like over an hour to get to it. Anyway, I still did the Kenilworth Half Marathon 2 months later, or almost 2 months later, but I walked that. It wasn't really, the target had been hit, which was running a marathon without walking, and I actually was a little bit slower in that, 10 seconds per mile slower. Didn't enjoy that experience at all. I felt great for having done it afterwards and finishing, but it wasn't the elixir of what the other one was. The other one took over. Then didn't run for a while, had no inclination to run. I'd done what I wanted to do. And then in March of 2020, I decided I wanted to run 30 minutes, 3 miles in 30 minutes. So 10-minute miles for 3 miles, just to get a bit fitter again. My fitness was okay, but it turns out it was all anaerobic fitness. Anyway, so it took me like several runs to do that. Started on the 4th of March, and I started off with 20 minutes, see how far I could run in 20 minutes. Then once I did 2 miles in 20 minutes, I upped it to 25 minutes, did 10-minute miles straight away on that, then went to 30 minutes, and it took me a couple of goes, and on the 7th of May I did my 3 miles in 30 minutes, was the target. Then I decided to go for 6 miles in 60 minutes, but I never got there. I got to 5.38 miles doing 11-minute miles. So that was me really pushing it 15 months ago. No, sorry, November 6, 18 months ago. Okay, so 11-minute miles. So that was me pushing it, and I've been doing a bit of training, like 2.5 months, 3 months of training. This year, fast forward to this year, decided to do the half marathon again. But it wasn't really so much a mindset thing this time. I was starting to think I needed to get training again and stop going to the gym. In lockdown, wasn't doing as much strength training, so kind of felt like a little outside impulse might be nice. Entered the half marathon again, which was on the 12th of September, just gone. So it's November now, so 2 months ago. Started training for it, and I just decided the first thing I was going to do was walk 13.1 miles. And I went out, I managed to walk 10.74 miles before I couldn't take any more. And it was like 80-minute mile walking. It was over 3 hours 13. So I knew I'd been on my legs longer than it's going to take me to do the half marathon. So it was good. And I just decided to keep walking 13.1 miles, half marathon distance, until it stopped being so much pain. So it took me 4 times, and I'd actually got my time down to 50, my pace down to 15 minutes, 55 seconds per mile. So that's like just over 2 minutes per mile faster, still walking it all. Then I started throwing some running in. So I did 25% running, 75% walking. That was distance based. And it wasn't much faster than just walking. And at the end, like the running towards the end was like mega shuffling. And then I did a 40% run, 60% walk. Then I did one where 60% run, 40% walk, and I was down to 13 minutes, 26 seconds, which meant that I would beat the 3 hours before they opened the roads again and the cars were going to come and mow me down. So yeah, then I did the half marathon on the 12th of the 9th, and it was 13 minutes and 2 per mile, slower than the 2 half marathons I'd done 2 years before. It was so painful. With about 2 miles left to go, I was almost like hallucinating, almost having thoughts that were just beyond my control about how I was going to get home if I just flaked out now, because the road's being closed. Would somebody able to come and pick me up? Did I need to speak to the marshals to get a lift? And then I managed to get control of my thoughts again. I was just like, whoa, what are you talking about? That is not an option. Even if you have to crawl, you are doing these 13.1 miles. So I did finish, but it was agony for the last. In fact, that was a really, really hard race. I didn't get a lot of gratification out of it other than being able to control my mind in that situation. Since then, found heart rate zone training. Okay, so I did a run last Saturday, so it's Friday today. I did a run last Saturday. I'd basically the night before started reading about heart rate zone training. So I just used my Garmin, looked at the aerobic heart rate zone, which was heart rate zone 3 on it, and decided to try and run a 10K, 6.21 miles in that heart rate zone 3, which for me was 130 beats per minute to 147 beats per minute. Bearing in mind I'm 50. And I went out, set out to do that. It was a little bit slower than I could have done. But it was also, it's 2 months since the half marathon. It took me a month to get over it. Then I got COVID. So it was just like, I didn't have COVID very badly, but I was just like I couldn't have run or anything for two weeks. And then I took an extra 2 weeks just to make sure I was all right before I went running again. I did a bit of weight training and stuff. So yeah, on Saturday, I went out and ran, did heart rate zone training, and it was 13 minutes 56 per mile, 1 hour 26 for the 10K. Slow. I could definitely do it quicker than that. Then, since then, started watching more YouTube videos, found Phil Maffetone stuff, a couple of great YouTube channels, and started really learning about aerobic fitness, which I kind of know anyway, but I've just never applied it to myself and my running. Kind of know, I knew all this, but just never really thought it mattered. And then this week I started training according to the MAF method, maximum aerobic function. So that is staying in aerobic fitness in my training, trying not to go above like the lactate threshold or go out of aerobic training or start using fast twitch muscles, anything like that. So yesterday I did my first MAF run where I had to keep, so you work out your MAF number basically. It's 180 minus your age. So for me, 180 minus 50 is 130 beats per minute. And then there's a couple of adjustments. So if you want to find your MAF number, go onto the Maffetone, just Google Maffetone method. You can get Phil Maffetone's ebook for free. And it'll just tell you how to work out your MAF number. There's like a couple of ways that you add 5 on or take 5 off or take 10 off or whatever. I end up taking 5 off my number. So it goes from 130 to 125. And I need to train in the zone that's 10 beats per minute below that. So from 115 to 125, did my first run yesterday. There's another video that you can probably watch if you press there, telling you the thoughts of that run. And yeah, that's pretty well it. That's how I got here. Basically through my own anxiety, curing that, getting to a place where I want to expand, starting to expand my life. Let's go back to the screen share. Yeah, so that's how I got here. I used to struggle with anxiety, alcoholic, gambler, smoker, overweight, and just in a general bad place, even 10 years ago, probably, definitely 15 years ago, started turning my life around. And recently I've gone from being that person who was using coping mechanisms all the time, especially the alcohol. I haven't drunk for nearly 18 months now. My BMI is below 25, so I'm like 2.5 stone less than what I've spent most of my life at, 4 stone lighter than I have been. I stopped gambling in 2018, I think it was, stopped smoking 15 years ago, which was really the start of turning my life around. Now it's all sort of taking off and has been for a couple of years, really. Even back in 2019 when I signed up for that marathon, that was when I really would say that everything was in takeoff mode rather than, you know, trying to get out of a hole, should we say. Now just live with fantastic inner peace, gratitude for life. Everything is great. 4 businesses, do things I love, fantastic family life, running for fun. And yeah, that's something else I would say, guys. If any of you are struggling with anxiety, just reach out, message me. I'll give you a link to book a free call with me. We'll spend 30 to 60 minutes just chatting, seeing if I can help point you in the right direction. I will serve the hell out of you. I do coaching packages to help people with anxiety and addictions and all stuff like that. Helping them from my experience of finding inner peace. Because when you find inner peace, everything's easy. Most people spending their lives trying to get external things to make them feel happy. Doesn't work like that. I found out it doesn't work like that. But when you get inner peace, those external things are really easy. Guys, Thanks for watching. As I say, there's that video. I'll put a link for it again from my first MAF test. So you do a test every now and then to see how your progression's going running at these heart rates. Because obviously it's really slow running at these low heart rates. So, but you can see how much further or how much your pace improves by keeping in that same heart rate zone by testing. So I'm going to test probably every week and do 10K every week. Guys, thanks for watching. I'm Chris, I'm 50 and I'm a terrible runner. The last line to that is going to change over time. Catch you later, guys. Thanks for watching. Take care.